जब तक है संसार अमर है राम भरत का प्यार, अमर है राम भरत का प्यार। सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। Shanti, Shanti. We have been studying. Deepa, do you have a question?
Yeah, so regarding the explanation for the formation of the first vasana, we posit Purushartha. So we say that vasanas came into existence through Purushartha. So that means Purushartha existed pre-vasanas. Okay. So
Naturally, subtle is before the gross.
hmm, subtle exists before the gross. That also covers that. So, but we also say that the vasana was formed at the first experience, correct?
Correct.
So,
Without a vasana, how will you have an experience?
yeah. Okay. So, but there's something that exists between the formation of the first vasana and self, which is Purushartha. So, how does Purushartha fit in the timeline?
Self, Purushartha vasanas.
So, so shouldn't it be that Vasana was formed at the second experience because Purushartha made the choice of ignorance?
There's no experience at the level of
Okay,
Purushartha. There's no experience at the level of vasana.
okay, okay. So, Vasanas, so we cannot say that the Vasana and Purushartha came at the same instant because that would contradict it.
You know
So,
explanation for the
subtle.
Purushartha is an explanation of how vasana came. If they came
Yeah,
at the same instant, how does that explain it?
yeah, yeah,
With the
correct.
question.
So, and we have no explanation for why the Purushartha came.
Purushartha is an inherent capacity in Brahman.
In Brahman. Okay, that's what explains the. Okay, okay. Thank you.
So we were studying the Vedantic theory of perception. Vedantic theory of perception merges both the idealist as well as the realist view. It doesn't merge it. When you recognize the Vedantic theory of perception, you understand how these two manage to be right together. So, what is the Vedantic theory of perception? That there are the qualities of the qualities and attributes in the object, just as the realists say. There are the thoughts in the mind, just as the idealists say. When these two meet, when the thought in your mind meets with the attribute in the world, you have what is perception. And Vedanta adds another layer to this. It says that it can happen only in the presence of Brahman. So you have to have, for a Vedantic theory of perception, three things. One is the attributes in the object, the second is the thoughts in the mind, and third is the all pervading Brahman. Because without it, neither of these are going to happen. So, Vedantic theory of perception attributes it to three factors as opposed to the others, which attribute it to only one factor. So, once you've got the basic idea in mind, then now reading it will become very easy. He's merely put it into a formula so that we can understand what he's talking about. But the concept should be clear to you before you start so that it's just simpler that way. So, who will read the next paragraph?
I can read.
Yeah, please.
The Vedantic theory reaches further to establish the underlying reality in both. The supreme reality, Brahman, is all pervading. It exists everywhere, in the subject and the object. The object flower has certain quality, which is variable, changing. Take away the quality from the flower, what lies beneath is not zero, not nothing, but the changeless reality. The quality is the structure, the reality, the substratum. The quality is the structure, the reality, the substratum. The union of the structure and the substratum is the flower. Similarly, the reality lies beneath the subject, beneath the thought of the flower as well. Thus, the reality, Brahman, supports both the subject and the object, the thought of the flower and quality of flower. These facts, defined and brought together, gives the mathematical equation for the world. So the reality lies beneath the subject. It supports both the subject and the object.
But say, yeah, correct, very good. But you have to say the whole thing. That there is the variable quality and there is the fixed quality in both. The variable is changing, the fixed is obviously fixed. So the attributes of the flower will keep on changing, whatever. It'll be a rose, then it will be dry, it'll be a bud, it'll be a rose, it'll be dried petals, it'll be petals fallen on the ground, whatever attributes happen to that. But the reality stays the same. Similarly, in the mind, many, many, many thoughts keep going on. So they can change. But the ability, the pure consciousness that makes it possible for us to be cognizant of these thoughts will ever remain the same. So now, if the two variables change, obviously the what do you call it, changes. The experience, the perception, the creation changes. So whatever happens at the level of creation, Brahman stays the same. Yeah, go ahead. Deep branch.
Is it that Brahman is manifesting both as the attributes in the object and the thoughts in the subject?
You can put
Okay.
it like that, but as of now, yes, that is correct. In fact, it is correct. As a fact, it is correct that the Brahman itself manifests as that.
Yeah, the reason, like I put forward the question is because the attributes don't exist separately from Brahman, because that again proposes an ontological issue. Okay,
Correct.
thank you.
But in the current context, that is not required. That concept is not. Okay, all clear on this one? Now, he's going to merely do the equations. So, who will read the equation? We'll go through all the equations at one point. Unless you want to stop between them. It's quite clear. Who will read all these equations? What happened? You all are terrified of equations.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Yeah, I can read.
Please.
Yeah, Deeprad the mathematician, unless he wants to take it up.
This is too easy for him.
Okay. Let the quality of flour be represented by QF and the underlying reality be B. Then the equation for the object flour will be QF plus B, which is the quality of flour and the underlying reality put together. Take the example of another object, a pen. Do I need to explain, or I'll
No,
Go
just
on.
read it all because
Read it all.
it's quite simple.
The pen has its quality. Let the quality of pen be represented by QP. The reality is the same B. Then the equation for the object pen will be QP plus B. Similar equations can be made for the countless objects of the world. And the whole object world perceived will be the aggregate of the qualities of all the objects of the world and the reality. Let the entire range of objects of the world be marked O1, O2, O3, etc. The qualities of the objects be QO1, QO2, QO3, etc. The underlying reality B. Then the equation for the object world for the entire perceived world will be QO1 plus QO2 plus QO3, etc. plus B. The subject is the mind. It consists of various thoughts. The thought of flower, thought of pen, thoughts of the entire range of the objects of the world. When all thoughts are removed from the subject, what remains is not zero, not nothing, but the underlying reality.
Continue. I hope it's clear, right? It's all. We'll
So
do it.
here,
You
yeah,
just
so
continue reading. We'll do
continue
text
reading.
as well as thoughts together. Yeah.
Okay. Let the thought of flower be represented by TF, the underlying reality by B. Then the equation for the subject flower, that is the thought in the subject mind reacting with object flower, will be TF plus B. Similarly, let the thought of pen be represented by TP, reality by B. Then the equation for the subject pen, that is the thought in the subject mind, reacting with the object pen, will be TP plus B. Again, the entire range of objects is O1, O2, O3, etc. And the thoughts of objects TO1, TO2, TO3, etc. Reality B. Then the whole subject mind perceiver would be the aggregate of the thoughts of all the objects of the world and the reality. The equation for the whole subject, the entire mind perceiver of world, will be TO1, TO2 plus TO2 plus TO3, etc. plus. The Vedantic theory states the perception of the flower is a result of the combination of the subject and object, the union of thought of flower and quality of flower, TF plus B and QF plus B. Therefore, the equation of the flower is TF plus QF plus B, and the equation of the pen TP plus QP plus B. Likewise, the equation of the phenomenal world will be the combination of the thoughts of objects and qualities of objects and Brahman, the combination of the entire subject and object and Brahman. Therefore, the mathematical equation of the world will be TO1 plus TO2 plus TO3, etc. plus QO1 plus QO2 plus QO3, etc. plus. Thus, the Vedantic theory of perception states the phenomenon of the world is brought about by the reaction of the subject and object in the medium of Brahman. A few interesting illustrations given below help to further elucidate the theory.
Okay, that's it. We'll just do the equations. They're reasonably simple, so you can just do the equations.
Should I just summarize?
Yes,
Oh,
please.
yeah. So all these equations say that when the flower exists, the quality of the flower exists, there is underlying Brahman along with it. Similarly, with all the objects around. So when we bring together all the objects together, still the they may be changing, but Brahman is the constant factor uh, below each of them, which is the object. The same applies for the thought in the mind, that is the subject. There can be different thoughts, but the underlying reality, Brahman, is the same. So the entire equation for the object and subject and Brahman would be uh, object plus subject plus B, that is Brahman.
Is equal to? When you give a plus, then you have to give a equal to also, no? So
Is equal to the world.
correct. Very good. So I hope it's clear. The equation for this object will be what? It will be the qualities of the pen plus Brahman. So QP plus B. Okay, so any object will be QO plus B. All objects will be Q1, QO1, QO2, QO3, QO4, blah, 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 plus B. That will be all the objects of the world. So far, so good. Object is clear, right? Qualities of the object plus Brahman. So it's all the objects, it will be quality of the object 1, quality of the object 2, quality of the object 3, all the objects put together, plus Brahman. That would make the equation for the objects, all the objects of the world. Then same thing at the level of the subject. Now you have thought of pen or thought of flower. So thought of pen is TP. Thought of flower is TF. All of these thoughts also have Brahman. Now Brahman is the same, right? There's no difference, it's the constant. So the constant you're not going to add. So you want to make a word, it will be thought of object, quality of object plus thought of object plus Brahman is equal to the word. Qualities of objects plus thoughts of objects plus Brahman, which is the constant, is equal to the word. Any questions just pertaining to this much? Only this much, nothing else.
Yeah, Janaki, can I ask?
Yes, go ahead.
Sorry, I'm not able to switch on the video today.
Okay, no problem.
So, can you help me understand this sequence in the case of the observer who is experiencing mirage?
Is experiencing what?
Mirage, like a water body, right? In deserts, you see a mirage.
Don't go. Just do this much. Do not complicate it. Because if you go to mirage and all, we'll have to bring in other factors. For now, you assume that the object does exist for the purpose of this.
Okay, fine. Thank you.
Is everybody clear about these equations? Wait, there was something. No, what is written in this? Prashant Nair, why not 3B? 3B? Why 3B, Prashant? That is a pencil, I think. No, that's 2B. What is 3B?
No, I thought the first equation should have been B1. Reality of flower is flower 1, quality of flower 1 is plus B1. Then another reality is B2.
No, but then
But
you're making so many Brahmans, constant is the same, no?
But that is not as, I mean, we are taking that assumption too much, like
No,
reality of flower.
theory.
Okay.
That is
I
the
got it.
theory. He's only expressing in occasion what is the theory. So constant will be the same. It will not change wherever you put it. Because you're referring to the same thing, right? You're not referring to two different things. Prakash's iPhone. Can we say Brahman is the common factor and silently prowls the world? and silently supports the world, maybe we can say that. Silently prowls the world would be quite poetic. And you must be having to prove, I mean, the poet who says this will be having to say something.
It is not propel. Instead of writing propel the world.
Propel the world, okay, fine. So yes, supports the world, propels the world, you can say all that. But you must understand what they mean in any case, that he is the inactive but constant principle. Right. So is this, are you all on board with this? Nobody's saying anything. Give me a thumbs up. Let me know. Are you on board with it? Thoughts of object, qualities of object is the object. Thoughts of object is in your mind. When these two combine in the presence of Brahman, the world, perception, creation, whatever is created. Okay, now he's going to give us some illustrations. Okay, thank you. Everyone seems to be on board. No, not everyone. What about you, Sheetal, Sahu, Menon? You all have not given a thumbs up. Have you all gone to sleep or what?
Sorry, Janki ji, but I'm not feeling up to the mark.
No,
So-
even I'm not feeling up to the mark, Sheetal. But we both have to continue.
Yes, sorry, I'll just give you a thumbs up. I'm little,
No, you don't have to give the.
Yeah.
As long as you're clear on what happened over here.
kind of, but I would like to go through the class once again, the recording, because I want to focus. I'm
Okay.
not concentrating too much today. That's
Okay,
fine.
okay, don't worry.
Sorry, Janki.
Who else? Everybody else is on board with this? Okay, very good. Sao Menon is okay. So, okay, fine. So, shall we go further? Everybody is okay. I'm assuming y'all are okay, though y'all are not saying anything. I will then continue. I have questions about realism and idealism. Let's see. Mamita, I am not an expert on realism and idealism. If you have very basic questions, we can do them, but not now because we're in the middle of Vedanta, theory of perception. Then do it at the beginning of the class, if they are basic questions.
No, so this is about the equation.
Oh, okay.
How do they relate to the theories of realism and idealism? Because if we take only the subject, then we have idealism. And if we take only the object, then we have realism. And according to the Vedantic theory of perception, we have both.
And Brahman.
Right, and Brahman.
Oh.
And therefore we have the phenomena of the world.
Right.
Okay. But is this the theories of realism and idealism as they are explained elsewhere and as they are explained in India, for example, like the Bhakti tradition, if it sees the world as real, then it still has a Brahman along, like supporting that. So is that different from the realism which is minus Brahman or God?
Bhakti tradition treats the world as real. There is the kind of permutations and combinations under those theories are too many for us to even in the Bhakti tradition. There are too many things. I mean, even somebody like Ramdas Swami is put under Bhakti tradition. Jnaneshwar Bhakti tradition. Now, all of this is directly Advaita. So, if so, obviously it cannot be realistic, right? A realism theory. So it's too complicated to go. All the greatest saints have all been Advaitans in the Bhakti tradition. Now, there are some saints whose followers claim that it is not Advaita, it is Advaita thing. Now, so there are too many different permutations. We can't go there. It's too complicated.
Okay.
Yes, Prashant?
Ma'am, how are we addressing that different senses see the objects differently? Uh, like senses of human beings see this real object in one way. Similarly, other objects see the reality a different way. How is this equation addressing this thought?
From a Vedantic perspective, right?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Because your senses see only according to your thoughts. Your senses cannot see other than that. In the Western tradition or in the scientific thing, they give the senses a lot of importance because they say what the senses see is objective and what your mind feels is subjective. Okay, that's one of the ways they go about it. And then this, better than the senses are objective instruments. So their conditions of objectivity are very different from how we are going to see it. Right. So if you can see the sunrise, right? So as far as they are concerned, that's the evidence of the senses. And then with your instruments, you can understand that better. You can get a better, more objective. But what is your mind doing about it is describing a beautiful sunrise. But then they say that's poetry. Okay, so they have a different stance. Vedanta says your senses will see only what your mind is. You have the senses of a human because you have the mind of a human. An ant has the senses of an ant because he has the mind of an ant. Remember, our theory says subtle comes first. So where does it come in? It comes in thoughts of the object. As far as
These thoughts,
yeah,
these thoughts are again that vasanas.
yeah, the whatever
I
is
had
involved thoughts, yeah.
I
Unless
had
you
seen
have
it earlier.
no, unless you have a thought of the object, you will not see the object. If it's a new object, you have to have something to see it. It's blue, you know blue, so you can see the blue. And from the blue, then you can see something else. It's square. Whatever else you see about it.
Thank
So
you.
senses are included in the mind in thoughts of the mind as far as theory of perception is concerned. Different senses because different thoughts in the mind.
Okay.
Momita. So the aggregating mind is the subject and not the discrete senses. Yes, that's what we see. Because if your mind is asleep, your senses will know nothing. Right. Okay, so shall we continue? Now he's going to help with some illustrations. Because some people like formulas and some people like illustration. So now let's do illustration. If the formulas were not clear, this will make it very clear. Who will read? Gunjan, you want to read the next paragraph?
Sorry, Janki can I ask a question?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, so we said that according to our thoughts, uh, the mind sees the situation. So how do we arrive that we are thinking right to see any situation right? Because it so happens that in any particular situation, for example, me and Omkar will have a difference of opinion. So that means both the minds are seeing the situation differently because both the minds are producing different thoughts or coming from different thoughts. So how do we arrive at the right decision or having the right thoughts on a situation?
That is not relevant to the theory of perception. That is to do with some practical aspects of life. So how do you arrive at common thing, Sheetal, is if Omkar acts funny, you just whack him one. Then he will come to the same conclusion as you have. But that is not really relevant as far as this is concerned. This is saying the thoughts you have meeting the qualities of the object in the presence of Brahman gives you a certain perception, whatever your perception is. So it's not going into whether you're right or wrong.
Okay. But it will help taking any decision. I think, do we have to train our mind to create right thoughts, or that's a different topic altogether?
A different topic, but yes, without clarity, how do you take decisions? But yes, that's a different topic.
Okay. Thank you, Jan.
Okay, so now let's see. Gunjan, are you reading?
Yes, ma'am. Two palms clapping produce sound. Either one of them on its own cannot. It is the play of both palms that does it. Similarly, the subject mind alone cannot produce the phenomenal world, nor the object world. It is the impact between the two that accounts for the perception of the world. So, just like when we clap, it produces sound, and only one hand cannot produce the sound. Similarly, the subject mind alone cannot produce the perception of the world. There has to be both subject and the mind and the Brahman also.
Why do you say subject alone can't do? The subject alone can't do, and the object alone can't do. So you're saying subject alone, then you're forced to say object alone.
Okay.
So very good. Yes. So any one of them cannot create it. Now, this sound of the one hand clapping, you all must have heard of. It's a very famous quote from Zen. What is the sound of one hand clapping? It means they're very, very poetic. They put Vedanta in extremely poetic ways. That is meant to force us to think, what are they saying? What is the sound of one hand clapping? There is no sound of one hand clapping, obviously. Another one, they say, what is the sound is of a tree falling in the, what is the tree falling in the forest if there is nobody to hear it? What is that sound? So, what these things are trying to tell us is that we are putting the emphasis on one factor when there are two factors involved. So, practically speaking, sometimes we are very focused on the object and we think the object is the cause of everything. Sometimes we're very focused on the subject and we think the subject is the cause of everything. No, it requires both. So sometimes we are too self-centered to see that there's another object. Sometimes we suffer from maybe inferiority complex, so therefore we don't see the other object. And sometimes we just too airy-fairy to see anything at all. So we don't see the object. So different people make different combinations of this subject and object. Yes, Gunjan?
Ma'am, can we extend this example by saying that even if there will be, let's say, two hands and they are producing sound, but if there is no medium, for example, of air, we'll not hear any sound. So that is Brahman.
Very good. Yes, you can say that.
Okay.
Okay. Next one.
I have a question,
Go ahead.
Okay, if we say the subject mind is clean or pure, like it is not defective in any way, then does that mean it is seeing the world as it is?
Completely pure,
Yeah.
then there's no world. Completely pure mind means no thought. And as long as you have a thought, you will influence the nature of the world.
But you're seeing, like literally, you're seeing the world, right?
No. If it's completely pure, what does pure mean? Only Brahman exists. Only one thing has to exist, no, for purity. Pure gold means only gold. Pure, I don't know, copper is only copper. So pure mind is only Brahman. But as the thoughts of the mind, or as the ego reduces, your capacity to see the world improves. Can only come to that point. Because as long as thought is there, there's an interference. It's like you see anything from Earth. You see any extraterrestrial object from Earth, there is an interference. Because anywhere on Earth there is atmosphere. If you go on top of Mount, where is that highest observatory? On top of some mountain. So why? Because interference is least for their telescopes. But still it's there. And if you say, no, I'll send my my telescope, like what is the telescopes we have sent out of our atmosphere. You have still the interference of space and time. So as
What about the Jivan Muktas? Like, they still exist in the world, but they are pure, right? Their mind has no.
Yeah, but you can't discuss them because Jivan Mukta is an explanation given for a person in the third plane of consciousness. As far as that person is concerned, what world?
They still act in the world.
According to Momita. Suppose Momita goes to sleep and in her dream Buddha comes. Buddha will do many things in her dream. But what is Buddha doing?
Oh, thank you.
Prakash's iPhone. Example is quarrel between two persons. Yes, that may or may not be an example because if you take a quarrel between Krishna and Shishupala, Krishna is doing nothing. Shishupala is carrying on. So yes, but generally speaking, yes. And there's a quarrel. Both are generally wrong. Yeah, Prashant?
Ma'am, so relative purity of mind and object so makes no sense actually. It is only helpful for the real world then.
Yeah,
You're neither reach.
relative purity it's not that it doesn't make any sense. It is an improvement. The interference is less. That's all. But can you have a completely objective view of this world? No. You will always see it through the barrier of your own thoughts. Maybe better, maybe less than others, but your barrier is there. If you want to know the truth, there is only one way of knowing the truth, and that is to go beyond thought. There's no other way to do it. That is what Vedanta says, anyway. Now, you have to decide for yourself if anybody with a thought can know truth. It's something you have to answer for yourself. Who will read the second example? Okay. Prashant, you want to read the second example?
Electricity has a positive and a negative pole. Neither of them produces a spark. But when the two poles come in contact with each other, a spark is created. Though electricity as such has no spark in it. Likewise, Brahman, the supreme reality, has no creation, no world in it. But when the two conditionings of Brahman come together, they're sparks of the phenomenal world. Brahman, conditioned by thought, becomes the subject mind. Conditioned by quality, becomes the object world. The subject and object are like the two poles of electricity. When they come together, there arises the perception of the world. Uh, here, uh, uh, here it is mentioned that uh, Brahman, conditioned by a thought, becomes subject mind, and conditioned by object becomes object mind. It is compared to electricity. I don't have the this thing in it here. This is not visible.
You want the paragraph visible again? Yeah. Sure. Put it back, Omkar.
So it is the conditioning that uh, uh, creates the perception of the world.
Oh, you didn't give the example though. The point was the example.
Electricity has both positive and negative poles. When both these come together, only then there a spark comes. Likewise, Brahman also, reality has no creation. When Brahman comes with the subject, it becomes subject to world. When it comes with the mind, it becomes object. It becomes object.
Good. So, Sheetal has no spark. Omkar has no spark. When they come together, there's a spark. That's what it is saying. Simple, no? When you put it in real world, it becomes easy. Correct, Sheetal and Omkar? Yes?
Yes, but that spark is not an air conditioning. It is a furnace.
Okay. Okay. So the furnace comes only when they are both there. If they are one is there, no furnace. Both are there, furnace. Just like that. Electricity on one side, positive, no spark. Negative, no spark. Bring these two jokers together and a spark takes place. So, second example. Easy, no? One hand, no clap. Two hands, clap. One pole, no spark. Two poles, spark. One more example. Sheetal, so Sheetal. Omkar, so Omkar. But get them together, spark. Simple this is, right? You people who are not married, you all are thinking, oh, look at them. You wait till you're married. You will then see what the situation is. You don't believe me, ask Momita. Right, Momita? Same ghar ki kahani, correct? Gunjan and Deepraj are saying, see these people, they have a spark. You don't understand. You people get married, you will also find the furnaces and the sparks and whatnot and whatnot. Because it's impossible, right? Two people living together who agree on everything. Can that ever be possible? Never going to be possible. There'll always be disagreements. The most common thing is, should the window be open or should the window be closed? One person cannot sleep if the window is open. One person cannot sleep if the window is closed. But they insist on sleeping in the same room. Okay, Deepraj. Yes, we disagree with ourselves 2 days later. Yes. So even when you live by yourself, one day the mind is saying this, one day the mind can say that. Correct. Very good. Now let us go to the third example. Who will read? The third example. Sheetal, you want to read the third example? Dangerous to put on your video because then I see you.
The ocean is a vast sheet of still water below with the waves on the surface. The water below is calm, whereas the waves on top are ever disturbed. They produce ripples and bubbles, froth and foam all over the surface. Not Notwithstanding the varied expression, it is water and water alone. The sheet below, the waves, the ripples and bubbles, the froth and foam. The different manifestations are brought about by the collision of waves. One wave is like thought of the subject mind, and the others like quality of the subject world. When these two impinge, is arises the disturbed water, the phenomenal world. So basically, with this example of water and ocean and waves, uh, the main thing is that it's always the collision of our subject mind and the subject world.
Object.
So that's where we are
Object.
Sorry. So that's where we are always juggling and in the situation of the relationship of the subject and object.
Yes, that is the creation of the world. If only one is there, there's no world. When the two come, the world is there. Very good. So beautiful example, right? The ocean is still below.
Yeah.
Man is still below. But on top, these waves collide.
Froth, waves, and ripples and bubbles, but it's
below.
So it's the connection of water with the
with Brahma.
Like in the example. So subject mind and object world, how it is related, but basically, froth, bubbles, ripples, whatever it can be, it's the water which is the subject, right?
No. One of the waves is the subject. One of the waves is the object. These two bang, and they create the froth and the foam. But both of them below
is the water.
Yeah.
Correct. So that's how it is with us.
Yes, all of us. Yes, all of us.
Thank you, Jan.
Yes, Taran.
Yeah, hi, Janvi. So, a question came to my mind is what is the role or how do we map the atmosphere in this example? The boundary between the ocean, when we say surface, surface means there is some another medium that is the atmosphere, right? That's why there is a surface. That's why there is a surface.
All we are doing is we are trying to establish how something comes about because of two. That's all we're trying to establish. Nothing else. There's one hand, no sound. Another hand comes, there's a sound. There is one pole, no spark. There are two poles, there's a spark. There's one wave, nothing. Two waves, and there's a creation of the froth and the foam and all of that. So what we're trying to establish is the need for two.
Yeah, that is understood. Means we have compared the depth of the ocean with the calmness of Brahman and other things, right? So that is one end of it, one pole. The other pole is the atmosphere then, because the surface cannot, or the observation of the phenomenal world cannot exist.
No, it is not involved in this example. It will be stretching the example.
Okay.
Hello, madam.
Yeah, go ahead.
How can we stop the spark when the two people clap? Because the two people talk and otherwise, what is the method of stopping the spark?
Arey, you are married, no? Every married man knows how to prevent spark.
The spark will come in.
Finger on the lip, no spark. Finger on the lip, no spark. Very, very simple. When the finger comes away, the spark comes.
Okay. Thank you.
Married man has to know that. How can you not know? You've been married for how many? 40 years?
Oh, yes. No. What I mean to say that always the spark may not be negative, may be positive also,
Yeah, of course. So we didn't say negative. We are saying spark is there now. Negative or positive, each one will decide for themselves. what it is. But with one, there's no spark, it means two. That is the only thing. Why did you say negative? You're not saying negative.
Okay. Thank you.
Then who is next? Momita, you want to read the... Is somebody saying something? You want to read the next paragraph?
Yes. Brahman is likened to water in the ocean. One wave to the subject, another to the object. When the waves clash, there arises the varied expression of water. Similarly, the clash of the subject and object produces the phenomenal world. However, Brahman remains the same, changeless reality before and after the world emerges. Just as water remains as water in and through all its expressions. So this, in the illustration, Brahman is the still water, and the subject and object are the surface waves, and their clashing creates all the expressions of the phenomenal world. But the still water remains the same no matter what is happening on the surface.
Yes, very good. Like in our home now, very, very peaceful. Because FTS is gone, he's traveling. No sparks, no nothing, very peaceful. But when he comes back, again there'll be a spark. Again, there will be much to say. Actually, I think a better example is if the housewife is alone at home, no spark. When the maid comes, then there's a spark, for positive or for negative. Because the housewife does her work quietly, no problem. Then the maid comes. Then the maid does her work, but then the housewife cannot stay quiet when she sees that work. So there has to be two.
Janki ji, in this example of housewife and maid, if the mother-in-law comes, then there is lightning.
Yes, very good. You have another example. Nice sparks when that happens. But even in a discussion, right? There's a good discussion if there are two. When you're just thinking by yourself, then you may not come up with so many ideas. Momita, in India, that is the most intense relationship, householder and health. Yes. We have a lot of opinions about them and they have a lot of opinions about us. But the point is, I mean, all this is just said lightly, but the point is you need two things for there to be a reaction. Positive or negative is not considered, just a reaction. Cannot be unless there are two things. Then, yes, one more example. I hope these examples are making it clear, right? Two hands for a sound, two poles for a spark, two waves for the froth and foam to start. And then one more example is the warp and woof of cloth. Always you require two. If there's no two, then there's no world. And all this, the spark, the sound, the froth and foam, all of this is representing the world. So unless there are two, it cannot be a world. That is why when in the Christian tradition, God was fed up with the world. All these people were creating too much chaos. So he got fed up. He wiped the whole lot out. Now the world had to start again. So what happened? Noah takes two of each and goes into his ark. He's maintained that two, and therefore that world can be recreated. Always two for a world to happen. And when there is only one, then there's no world. There's only Brahman. Right? So we'll do the last one next time. so that you also get a chance to digest this idea a little bit. Okay, is it clear how two things are required for this world to come about? There is the subject, there is the object. When these two meet, in the presence of Brahman, there is a world. If that duality is removed, there cannot exist a world. Now, philosophically, if you are able to grasp this concept, begin to understand the entire picture of life, that there will always be these dvandvas. And if the dvandvas are not there, how is the world there? Now, when these dvandvas are there, sometimes you will like it, and sometimes you will not like it. Isn't it? It cannot always be according to the way we like it. And then you tend to go towards Brahman because you've cooled down. Things cannot be the way I want it to be. I would like so many things, but that thing has its own will. Okay? Like I like an apple. Let us say I like an apple. So I buy an apple. Now I want to eat my apple. But that apple has its own thing. One day you buy an apple, it's a very sweet and beautiful apple. One day you buy an apple and it is all soft and weird. Right? How will it always be that you always buy an apple in that exact perfect way that you want it? Suppose you want dahi. Now every day your dahi is going to be different. Some days a little too sour, some days a little too sweet, some day it is perfect. So now tomorrow will it be perfect or not? Nobody knows. So once you philosophically get the idea that everything requires two things. There are the qualities of the object and there are the thoughts of the object. When these two meet in the presence of Brahman, a world is created. Now, when the world is not according to the way I would like it to be, the first step for me to do is ask myself the question, can I live with it? Can I live with it? 9 out of 10 things are some such that we can live with. Isn't it? Because none of us are living really horrible lives. 9 out of 10 things are things we can live with. If we can live with it, what's the fuss? If we can't live with it, then we have to think, what do I have to do now? Yes, Mamita?
When we are asking ourselves these questions, when we are taking any decision, after understanding this concept of two things, we must allow ourselves the decision to be focused on the goal, like while we are deciding, can I live with that or can I not live with it? It is more about, is it conducive to my goal or not, or is it
Goal and Swadharma, both.
So how is
The
Swadharma
question is, can I live with it? Means if it's violating my Swadharma too much, how am I going to live with it?
How is the Swadharma different from the goal?
Swadharma is your field of activity. Goal is where you're trying to reach. Swadharma is the person you are.
Right, but the Swadharma is also oriented towards the goal.
Yes, we have to, but life is not a perfect thing.
Okay.
Let us say, I don't know, I'm trying to think of an example. I want to reach realization. Okay. And I'm involved in a job that makes me work 14 hours a day, for example. I was making up stories, okay? Now I have no time to study, no time for anything. And I'm very much discontented with that kind of life. Then I should not be keeping it. But if I love the concept of working 14 hours a day, 18 hours a day, all my working life, that's my life. I work. Okay, 1 hour of studies and the rest of the time I work. Then this is in accordance to my Swadharma. So that's fine. So you can't be violating your own nature.
Thank you.
Okay, so that's it for today. I think you all know that at 12 o'clock we have a talk on stress. So if you all would like to, please join us. And that's it for today. Hari Om.